Hi, we were listening to Dr. Greger again about Alzheimer's this morning, and we both had the idea. It was so important to share this second segment with you.
Yeah, so Dr. Greger has been reporting on Dr. Dean Ornish's study looking at reversing the progression of Alzheimer's. And it's been really impressive. And what we liked about this video is that, well, the statistics are good. 70% of the people who shifted to whole food plant-based actually saw improvement or were stabilized. And 70% of the control group got worse. Nobody experienced improvement in the control group, and 70% got worse. So, Dr. Ornish, I feel, is really showing that it may not be curable, but it's certainly preventable and also improvable. And the lovely thing about this video that we liked, and the reason we wanted to share it, was because it gives some testimonies, so that it's not just statistics on a page. Oh, good, 70% get better from Alzheimer's. What does it mean in a person's life? Because Alzheimer's, you start losing your mind. Life changes, and almost all of them say how that sense of identity and self-worth was being regained as they regained this cognitive function. It's very sweet.
Yeah, it's a heartfelt moment that you'll hear in this video, and we hope you enjoy it.
On Friday, I released a video profiling Dr. Dean Ornish's landmark new study in the leading peer-reviewed Alzheimer's translational research journal, a randomized controlled trial showing that a plant-based diet and lifestyle program may significantly improve cognition and function after 20 weeks in many patients with early-stage Alzheimer's disease. About 70% remained stable or actually improved in the plant-based intervention group, whereas in the control group, about 70% got worse, and not a single person got better. But no matter how significant the results, the dry statistics just don't convey the human impact. Many patients who experienced improvement reported regaining cognition and function they had lost, but how does that actually translate into real life? Well, for example, several patients in the intervention group reported that they had been unable to read a book or watch a movie because they kept forgetting what they just read or watched and had to keep starting over. But after the plant-based diet and lifestyle changes, they got better, such that now they were able to read and watch shows again. One individual reported that it used to take him weeks to finish reading a book, but after participating in the study, he was able to do it in a matter of days. Another participant, a former business executive, reported regaining the ability to manage his own finances and investments. "It was so much a part of my life," he said, "who I am and who I was. It was hard saying that part of me was just gone. But now I'm back to reconciling our finances monthly. I keep up to date on our investments. A lot of self-worth comes back." Another one said that for 5 years she had been unable to prepare their family business's financial reports, but now she's doing so accurately. "A deep sense of identity is returning. It's given me a new lease on life, and yet it's a familiarity and something I've always prided myself on. I'm coming back, like I was prior to the Alzheimer's disease being diagnosed. I feel like I'm me again, an older but better version of me." But even words are hard to describe such transformations. One of Dr. Ornish's study participants gave us permission to share his story. Dan Jones is a musician at military events and parades who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
What have you noticed that you can do now that you couldn't do before?
Well, for one thing, I had a set of about 8 tunes that I played in the parade.
Right.
And I could just go straight through them, from one into the other. I played for an hour and a half without stopping, I think it was. It was pretty close they moved darn slow in that parade. I was leaving them behind walking. I kept having to stop and waiting for them to catch up.
Was that something different?
Yeah,
In
it
what way?
was. Well, that I could remember the order, that I could make the transition from tune to tune without messing up and getting confused about which tune I was playing. Those were all problems I had when we were playing at the graduation ceremony. You know, I'd forget which tune was coming next. I'd get worried about it and I'd start making mistakes. And this just went like clockwork. A lot of it had to do with practice, but the tunes we played before, I played hundreds of times. And I was messing up. And in the parade, I hardly messed up at all.
And you were messing up because you had a hard time remembering?
Because I had a hard time remembering, I'd get confused about different tunes. It was really, yeah, it was not a pleasant experience. It was unpleasant enough that, like I said, I went home and I put them down.
And now?
Now, there was one day a couple of weeks ago when I really had the drones in tune. And it was in the evening, I was out on the front porch playing, and it was just so beautiful. I played for 2 hours. I just stood there and played.
What are you feeling now?
Joy? No, just happy. You know, women always say because they're crying because they're happy. I'm crying because I'm happy. It was so nice to be able to do that again.
And did that make you feel better about yourself too?
It did.
In what way?
I just felt like I could do something. Like I had worth again, so to speak. Something that was important to me was given back.
Here's what the head of Harvard's Brain Center at Mass General had to say. Big Pharma has invested billions in the effort to find medications to treat the disease, but only 2 Alzheimer's drugs have been approved in the last 20 years, one of which has already just been pulled off the market, and the other is minimally effective, extremely expensive, and often has pesky side effects, such as brain swelling or bleeding into the brain. In contrast, the intensive lifestyle changes implemented in this study have been shown here to improve cognition and function at the cost of, like, buying broccoli, and the only side effects are positive ones.
So, like Connie said, we were so touched when we heard those testimonies. We just wanted to share it because it really brings home not just the statistical benefits of eating whole food plant-based, but the impact it can have on our lives. And it impacts people with increasing their cognitive function again, but it also increases the quality of life for people who restore their heart health and reduce risk of that's funny, senior moment here.
Of so many conditions.
But I'm thinking of stroke, I mean, how many people's lives are so impacted for the last 1, 2, 5, 10 years of their lives because they have a stroke.
Yeah.
So it's very touching. It's good news.
Yeah, and I'm really hopeful when Dean Ornish releases the results of his study. I'm hopeful that it will be done in a way that really includes how it affects a person's life when we make the change to whole food plant-based. Because in my experience, in the things that I've dealt with in my own health, eating this way, the body thrives, and it is a miracle.
Yeah, and so it has been published in the most recognized Alzheimer's, what's it called, treatment journal. And it has been published and is fully recognized, and we'll see how they make use of it to leverage that publication.
Yeah. The recipe is very delicious. It's a Thai noodle medley, and it uses ramen noodles and lots of beautiful veggies, baby bok choy, and mushrooms. It is so good. It's a one dish meal, so easy to make, and I made enough for 4, so we'll have it again today for 2 days. Give it a go.
Yeah, we think you'll like it. See you again next week. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
joining us.